Get ready to launch. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going back to some vintage Nintendo 64 as ported over on the Nintendo Switch. This is Starfox in
a Nintendo 64 production.
Yay. The first 3D Star Fox game following Star Fox 1 and Star Fox 2.
I don't actually believe that, because I'm relatively certain that the R-Wing and specific elements in Star Fox and SNES are actually 3D.
That's a very primitive looking 3D.
It's very primitive, mind you, but I'm relatively certain that the wireframes actually do have Z-axis stuff going on.
It does. It indicates depth by the size of the pixels on the screen. Versus 3D, where now these models are not only great looking, they look like they function in a 3D space at a decent frame rate. You know, something akin to video, motion picture, voice acting, with subtitles.
The R-Wing.
Just in case people need to be brought up to speed as to how things work in the Star Fox universe.
Which is actually quite likely, given that this is a reboot of the SNES game.
Essentially, yes.
No, not essentially. This is just straight up a reboot. Technically, it's a sequel because we're actually running with Fox McCloud instead of James, but that's it. But even then, I think even in the original game, we were running with Fox over James, weren't we?
Well, I didn't play the originals to know whether you were playing as father or son.
Star Fox, okay.
Okay, follow the 64 logo. Come on. Come on. There. Now it's to the left. Now it's to the right. Now it's center. Now it's up. Yeah, I love that. Little poke of fun at Super Mario 64, which also had an interactive start menu. That is one thing that you don't see a lot in modern games, is an interactive, like, press start to play menu. Like, it actually gives you something to do while you wait.
Now, that's interesting. I didn't realize that kind of an Easter egg was here. Huh.
You guys all suck. You couldn't even make it past Corneria.
That isn't fair, because Cat being here specifically is a really cool Easter egg, alright?
Oh, she's here. Now, the question is, can you find her? Because she's only found in 2 levels in the game.
Wow, I didn't actually think that Cat was actually present. I know that her being here is technically a reference specifically to Star Fox 2, a game which does not exist at this point in the timeline. But
no, Star Fox 2 came out in 1996.
No, it didn't.
Oh. Well, I thought I played Star Fox 2, and by play Star Fox 2, I mean attempt and fail at Star Fox 2.
Yeah, you attempted to play Star Fox 2 on the Switch because it got the unreleased version of Star Fox 2 got polished up and released as part of the Switch online membership stuff for the SNES.
Switch membership, I love it. Meanwhile, while Gerdad and I go over the lore and some tidbits of history on Star Fox, the franchise, so product of Nintendo, starting on the Super Nintendo, introducing the classic narrative formula of taking on Andross the boss while playing as a member of the Star Fox team. We're in tutorial land because Star Fox 64 made a great move in allowing players to get warmed up to fighting in true 3D.
But again, a majority of the rail shooting for this, at the very least, looks and feels a lot like it did back in the SNES days, because you could go up and down and side to side during that game. So,
truth. I would rather play this though.
Yeah, it's almost universally agreed upon that Star Fox 64 is just a better version of the SNES game. I mean, I still actually prefer the SNES game over Star Fox 64, but that's more or less because I've bothered to actually play the SNES game multiple times, whereas Star Fox 64 I've only actually dabbled with a couple of times, and I don't think I've ever actually finished it on my own.
Now, the Nintendo Switch does a decent job at porting over the game. My biggest complaint with, and this is true for a lot of the N64 ports that are found using the online Switch library, the C button commands are very awkward to execute in this game, and there are a lot of useful C button commands.
Specifically, the vertical flip.
The somersault, yes. I actually had to... This is my second attempt at recording the tutorial because I had to really practice on how to execute the C commands using the C controller. Do not ask me how to do the C commands on the Switch controller. Screw you is the answer. Figure it out yourself and practice up. If you're used to doing them on the N64... What is your guess?
My guess is that you press and hold either L2 or R2 for it. First person mode. Leave it. No, this is terrible. Ow!
Yeah, we're going down. Oh, yeah, that's right. I had to learn how to answer Rob64's calls on the Switch, because when you answer Rob's calls during a mission, he gives you free stuff, like bombs, or repair units for your wings, or laser upgrades. He can also give you maximized health.
So, the 3 gold rings increases your health bar, but does it increase your health bar specifically for the mission, or is it a permanent health upgrade for the entire campaign?
It's just for the mission.
Okay.
Gives you something to do. And then after you get your max health bar upgrade, as you collect an additional 3 gold rings, you get an additional R-Wing, which is your number of lives counted, yes.
Yeah, because...
the number of attempts.
Because this is, still... Although it is a more or less a score-focused rail shooter, it still actually it wants to incorporate a lot more arcade stuff for it.
I would like to think that having lives does not matter in this game. If you die, then not only do you go down in the number of lives / R-Wings you have, you also go back to the basic laser.
So the laser will... that Hound is giving us here, is this actually accurate for the Switch controller?
No, it is not accurate for the Switch controller. Everything that you see from the start menu to the control scheme, these were designed to be played on a Nintendo 64 controller. They did not change, they did not port over new data for the Switch port.
I find that kind of interesting then, because he says specifically that that Z and L are for strafing commands. The thing is, Z on the N64 controller was your trigger, so
the important thing to keep in mind is that everything that you can do on the Nintendo 64 game, you can do on the Switch.
Right.
It's just you have to take a different pathway in order to execute these commands, and each one of these commands is important, from turning your R-Wing left or right to more quickly go to the left or go to the right, to doing U-turns when you're in all-range mode, to answering Rob64's calls, doing somersault, accelerating, and hitting the brakes, and also do a barrel roll.
Which, again, is not actually a barrel roll, it's an aileron roll.
And the roll will allow you to resist damage from incoming enemy lasers.
So yeah, James is already dead at this point, because Pigma's a fucktard.
Well, we're about to find that out.
No, it's already scrolled past that narration.
Pepe barely escaped venom and returned home to tell James' son, Fox, about his father's fate.
A few years have passed. So is it 5 or 10, Mr. Cloud?
A few.
Oh, come on. Surely you can give us a more precise guess than just a few.
This is all the narrative we have to go on. a few years passed. A long time ago. This is the more specific detail, the Lylat System. And all of the wacky and crazy worlds you get to explore, working our way towards the green fart planet of evil, Venom. Our end destination, level 7. After traversing from Corneria in blue, being pointed at by the in 3D green arrow, you must travel through each of the planets, experience adventures, see friends, destroy enemies, take out some serious bosses,
and have
and
ice cream
also
sandwiches.
Enjoy on subsequent playthroughs an entirely different game experience by taking a different route from Corneria to Venom.
Right. So, which is the route that we're taking first? Because this game is technically divided into 2.5 routes. You have the easy route, the hard route, and the medium route. The medium route is stupidly difficult to actually stay on. So,
well, the medium route will eventually put you at a fork in the road that eventually you have to either take the easy way in or the hard way in. And depending on the difficulty that you take on, you will get a different ending. And attached to that ending is is an entirely different endgame boss and also an endgame 7th level. And let me say also that the greatest advantage of the Switch is the HD quality, allowing you to see just how flat and flimsy everything looked on N64, and to think that this used to be the best that games looked.
well, I don't really think so because... No, you're right. Yeah, 96. Yeah, 96. This was for 96 specifically. This was the best the games could look, and then 97 happened, and the PS1 exploded.
Let's rock and roll, Mr. Gerdad. Rocket Rabbit Commentaries flying in. Mission 1, Corneria.
So why don't we start over the ocean of Corneria?
Well, you can't just fly into the city. We're going to get bombarded
we're gonna get flying directly
in
into
the
city
air
later on.
Right, from the side. It's similar to like airdropping in soldiers. Is they're gonna have sights on you before you could see them because they're on the ground.
All right, so how many times are we gonna save Slippy on this playthrough, Mr. Cloud?
Quite a few, and there'll also be a time where dramatically we get to see what happens when you don't save Slippy, but we'll get into that. Your teammates fly in with you at the start of every mission. At Corneria, they all start off with full health, and they all come in simultaneously. Depending on your ability to keep your friends safe and also to stop the GD friendly fire from taking them out, you get to enjoy their help on each and every level because they get to recover a little bit of their health in between missions.
And now that we're at level 3 laser, we should have the ability to one-shot literally everything.
Pretty much. Do a somersault. And also use your brakes to have plenty of time to take out the +5 hit robots.
Yeah, the brake is honestly something that I always have problems doing in Star Fox. The boost I actually like using quite a bit, specifically because it's usually easier for me to execute. But the brake is something I've always been uncomfortable with. You were supposed to check that during pre-flight, Falco. Damn it.
Well, I mean, what? It's the first mission. Sometimes you don't find these things out until it's too late.
And we failed to rescue Falco. Damn.
Precisely. And that also has consequences for the hidden route inside Corneria that will allow you to go to Sector Y instead of going to Meteos for your 2 options for your second level. But meanwhile, what we can do for the rest of this mission is concentrate on getting the high-value robots in order to get our hit counter as high as possible. Every time you see hit, you get a point. Every time you see +3, it's that 1 hit plus the number of extra points that it will show.
Okay, then. We're not allowed to kill the trees, are we? Oh,
you can kill the trees, you just don't get points.
Hit?
Hell yeah, we got an extra life. Uh-oh. It's boss time.
Now, well, a good portion of the bosses that we end up fighting are actually in all range mode, and honestly, all range mode for this game works relatively well. But like, I've always been. You almost crashed into that bot, Mr. Cloud. I've always been heads and tails about all range mode because if you don't know how to do the U-turn, all range mode is always a hassle. But once you know how to do the U-turn, all range mode is effectively just, two different lines, and you just fly back and forth on those lines doing objectives.
You're going to want to use the U-turn to get yourself back into the fight more readily and to help you get on target with your teammates who fall under enemy fire attack quite often. And in the next episode, while Falco takes a breather because he sucks at life, we're going to Meteos, the meteor field.
Be safe, everybody.